just keeps getting better and better. Hello and welcome to Week 7 and our new LSFL Live. I am Fuck You Pay Me. Back from her vacation, is that bitch? Shut your mouth.
I leave for 1 week and the Rattlers win a game. Figures. Well, no team in the LSFL is allowed a week off. Is this one team falling asleep at the wheel? 6-0 Grimace collide with the Dragons in this weekend's game of the week, but first, are the Sharks on the ropes?
It would seem so. The Sharks had a huge opportunity this weekend with their matchup versus the Brooklyn Rugrats this past weekend to keep pace in the division and try to prime their position to begin the second half of 2011. The Rugrats have underachieved till this point and the game was big for both franchises. Orlando's running game never got on track as they only got 22 points from all 3 running backs he started. Still, Orlando held a 19-point lead going into Monday night. But proving that he doesn't know how to win, they allowed the Rugrats Jets defense to score 26 and have a come-from-behind victory, Rugrats 80 Sharks 73. Cooper's only response, quote, "Every fucking week," end quote.
This weekend's game of the week has us awaiting the clash of 2 popular trash talkers of the LSFL. The Dragons were one of the franchises that snickered at draft picks made by Dallas at the draft. But it is now the Grimace that have laughed all the way to a 6-0 start. The Grimace are now 2 games away from tying the league record of 8 straight wins, held by them and the Bombers. The Dragons hold the longest losing record but are calling for this weekend's game to be epic. The Grimace on the other hand are not so gracious. Ken Hubler said, quote, "It will be epically great when I beat him and prove the drunk guy knows more than him. It's going to be a good matchup but I'm taking him to the woodshed, so tell Greg to get his balloon knot ready." End quote. What the hell is a balloon knot anyway?
Asshole.
No need to call me names. Just want to know what the hell he's talking about.
No, retard. That's what a balloon knot is. It's a butthole.
I have no time for your gay lingo.
Moving on. This past weekend's game between the Big Timers and Grimace looked a lot closer than it actually was. The score was Grimace 79, Big Timers 77. But reports say that not only did Paul Phillips make no effort to pick up a running back to start, but he also did not turn in his lineup at all, a cardinal sin in LSFL sportsmanship. This comes at a time where the league is already suspecting team desertion. This week the league would only confirm that Rob Cushing and the Hippos were contacted and offered to return next season. Tariq Carman claims he too was contacted by the league. That would only mean that the LSFL is looking to lose at least 1 team next season. Many owners have claimed not to have had much contact with the Big Timers. Paul Phillips could not be reached for a comment. If the Big Timers never wins another game, where does that rank them in the LSFL as the worst franchise of all time?
Number 5. Tampa Bay Big Timers. In their first season, the Big Timers seemed dead before they even die. Although they won at least 1 game already, it was to the Dragons. Everyone's first win is the Dragons. No excitement at the draft, non-existent in trade talks. 1-5. I'm calling it. The Big Timers' career is over. He needs to go back to a Yahoo free league where losing don't mean much. Hey Paul, thanks for the donation. Robbie is glad you left the seat warm. Even he could have won 1 game by now.
Staying in Tampa. Number 4. Tampa Bay's Papo's Pimps. This was the poor man's Hippos. Papo was a founding owner and shared a headquarters with Commissioner Cooper in 2004. The Pimps allowed themselves to be conned for anything worth of value by the Sharks every day. Questionable lineups and poor performances led to a 3-10 record and a division record of 0-4, being one of the first one-and-done teams in LSFL history. I forgot he was even in the league then.
Number 3. The Michigan Trolls, aka the Nash Vegas Trolls, aka the Las Vegas Los Muertos. Gosh. When you say it like that, it sounds like a division in the WNBA. The Trolls never really made an impact for nothing more than being nomads. They came into the LSFL like they would come into town. The wannabe biker with no bike was a poor owner. Wishy-washy on trades. Never made the playoffs. Even would call it a season early once in a while. If not for the Las Vegas Spartans joining the LSFL in 2008, the Trolls would have left Commissioner Cooper and the league high and dry, entering the draft. Will was fake and the league never misses him. Wherever he is in Denver now, you can be sure that he's sucking balls. In reality or in fantasy.
Whoa. Number 2. The New Jersey Storm. Ramsey was able to turn the Garden State into a running LSFL joke, as to this day no team wants any association with. In his only season, the Storm went 4-9 and were just bad from the beginning. Midway through the season the Storm challenged the league publicly and attempted the first ever fire sale. The LSFL was forced to freeze a franchise roster for the first and only time in league history. The Storm continued to question the league's integrity, even after his lifetime ban was approved by the Players Association. Ramsey proved that no matter how cool you are as a person, some people aren't cut out to make it in this league.
And the number 1 worst team in LSFL history. The Alabama Slammers. Imagine a fantasy team with as many playoff appearances as the Hippos, but without the charm. Imagine the trash talk of the Bombers, but without the wit. Imagine the Dragons, but without the lucky playoff runs. That was Ronaldo McClurkin and the Alabama Slammers. Each year most wins attained in garbage times and would lie in trade talks and never come through. Bragged and talked big, but never amounted to shit. But the one thing that makes him the worst franchise in league history is that 3 days before the 2009 draft, the Alabama Slammers led the league on and committed to play for the season, only to back out and leave the league hanging with no backup available at the time. Cornflake was phony, fake and ruthless for his lack of consideration for all the owners of the league at the time. Ronaldo, if you're watching, eat a dick.
That's it for this edition of LSFL Live. Join us next week. Half the season is over, can you believe it?
I know. Playoffs are just around the corner.
For that bitch shut your mouth, I'm fuck you pay me saying. Paul, what the fuck? Not turning in your lineup. How weak is that? Show some heart, lift your skirt and grab your sack. Go out with some dignity for God's sakes. But if you don't worry. We aren't expecting much anyway.
Oh snap. Grab a napkin, fool. You just got served.